What's going on? It's your boy, Brother Allen. I'm back with another one. This one, we're doing something a little different today. I called it Coffee with a Veteran. Uh, no sponsorship or nothing like that. But if you got your coffee, go ahead and have a sip. Sit back, relax, and hear a veteran story. All right, so cheers. All right, guys and gals. All right, so first of all, Blessed Veterans Day. I like to say Blessed Veterans Day to veterans out there because I don't really say you shouldn't say Happy Veterans Day in my opinion because a lot for what we do, a lot of veterans their time wasn't a happy time. Okay, we're war fighters. We fight wars for our nation. That's that, or either we train to fight wars for our nation, and that's what we do. And for a lot of people, it's not happy. Some people never even made it back. I got people that I know, a guy that I know, he never made it back. So it's not always a happy time for veterans. So I rather say Blessed Veterans Day. All right, and so to give you my story, all right. I went in right after high school. I joined what it was called. I joined the Marine Corps, and they had a special program. The whole military has this program. It was called Delayed Entry Program. So basically, like you sign up with the military, but you don't actually officially enter into the military until a certain set date. And which was crazy because what they like to do is they like to have the date as close as possible. And I joined when I was in high school. So the recruiters and I will tell you this, but what they do is they like to have the date as close as possible to your graduation so that you don't get any second thoughts or you don't mess up, and smoke some weed or something before you go down there and pop on a drug test. So they, or whatever the case may be, they don't want you running off somewhere or going off to college. So my day was 2 days after my graduation. It was June the 6th. I graduated the 4th. I was shipped out on the 6th. I didn't realize how close after graduation I picked it. So I didn't get the time to, sit and just marinate with my family after graduation. Like, oh, I got high school out the way, major milestone done. I don't ever have to go to grade school again, you know. So I got that out the way. But then right away, like 2 days later, I'm gone, shipping off to boot camp. And matter of fact, like my journey kind of started at this table because I wanted to join infantry. And for those who don't know, infantry is what a lot of civilians call the front line, is actually the guys that are on the ground doing the fighting with the rifles and also other small light weapons. All right. That you can carry around yourself. And so, but my mother was not going to let me join if I joined infantry. So we had a meeting right here at this very table. And that's when they said, they was like, hey, it doesn't matter your MOS. MOS is, sorry about all the military jargon for those who don't understand, but MOS is military occupational specialty. It's basically your job in the military. So he said, it doesn't matter what your job is, whatever it is, all Marines are infantry. And he wasn't lying because during that time, and I was in high school, all right, I joined in 2004 through 2008. I served from 2004 through 2008. So, around the early 2000s, it was the Iraq War going on. Um, first was 9/11, then you had Afghanistan, and then you had the Iraq War. And one of the things that happened during that Iraq War was that there was some army prisoners of war. And one of the reasons why they got caught was because these people were not infantry and their weapons jammed and they had no clue of how to unjam their weapons. So they couldn't fire. All right. In the Marines, no matter what your job is, you're always cleaning your weapon. You clean it at least once a month or so when you're home. Um, And then when you're overseas in the desert environment, you got to clean that baby every day. So we cleaned weapons every single day, and we knew how to do remedial action, which is just military jargon for we knew how to unjam our rifles and get back to it and rocking again if we ever had to. So because they didn't know that, because the army had a different concept, and the Marines concept is everybody is infantry. Everybody has to know infantry. Everybody gets trained at the school of infantry. I don't care if your job is making soup. In the Marine Corps, you go to the school of infantry. Well, you go to what's called Camp Geiger on the East Coast. I don't know what it's called on the West Coast. But the on the School of Infantry in the Marines is at Camp Geiger, and infantry goes to School of Infantry (SOI), but ours is called MCT. All right, so I say you go to the School of Infantry, you go to where the School of Infantry is, which is at Camp Geiger. But if you're not infantry, it's called MCT, which is the same course, but it's reduced. It's a crash course. Where infantry, theirs is a more longer, elongated course where they work this out and have to know this like the back of their heads. All right. So we know a little something, something. All of us know a little something, something. You know, it's just infantry. They practice it longer because they have to do that every day as their job. All right. But anyway, so I had to pick another MOS and I picked heavy equipment mechanic. Um I did that for a few years. I went and trained in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. We used to call it Fort Lawson Woods, Missouri. And we had the meanest platoon sergeant, the staff sergeant. I forget his name. If I saw him today, I would probably I wouldn't say nothing to him. I would just probably look at him and just give him a look. I wouldn't say nothing to him. But if he said something to me or and one thing slick, we not in the Marines no more, buddy. Yeah, we not in the Marines no more. But anyway, that guy's probably an old man by now. He's probably well, not too much older. Because when you're in, you think of these people are so old, right? But a staff sergeant is probably not even broke 30 yet. For him, it looked like he was. It looked like he was daggone about my age now. He was rusty looking. I don't know if he got busted down or what, but he was pretty rusty looking. But the meanest guy ever. Oh my gosh! Like at least in boot camp, like it's a part of the act. But outside of boot camp, it's like, bro, like these is who these people really are. And this guy was. I loved MCT. Everybody there was great, but he was super mean, and we had a gunny that just for some reason he had a thing where he just didn't like people using the bathroom in his class. Um, so I guess he was trying to drive home a point like, look, you want to be in class, learning everything, not missing nothing. I guess that was the point. But one time I was about to piss myself, and I went, and then another time, like I guess that second time, like he gave me a hard time trying to go, like really to use the bathroom. It was at a point where I was just like, all right, I was just mentally preparing myself to piss on myself. This sounds crazy, but the military discipline is at a whole nother level. Um, just thinking back on some of the things that I had to do, it's like it's not a hard decision being in the Marines to decide whether or not you want to stay or not. And the decision was very easy because of stuff like that. I was like, I love serving the country. I love the weapons training and all that, but stuff like that, I was like, I can't get with this, bro. I just can't. I'm a grown man and I'm up here begging to take a piss. But yeah, anyways, went through MCT, went through boot camp. Boot camp was cool. Of course, I got boot camp stories. I got stories for days. But I don't want to make the video too long. But yeah, boot camp was wild. And the thing about boot camp that you never see in the movies and stuff is, yeah, the recruits catch mostly all of the heat, but if a drill instructor get out of line too, he can catch heat too. See, in the army, and they have drill sergeants. In the Marines, we have drill instructors. Same role, but it's just different names for the title. So in the Marine, you're gonna hear me say drill instructor. Oh, it's already been 10 minutes. Okay, yeah. So anyways, let me speed it up. I did deploy to Iraq. My mother was ready to write a congressional senator to have me taken out to not go. So it was getting real. Like my command called home and everything. She wrote a letter to my command. My command called her and all of that. Put me in the office, and I had the chance to actually get out early, but I couldn't do it because, and well, I ain't gonna say I couldn't. I say I wouldn't do it because they was going to let me out, but they was going to discharge me with a other than honorable or something like that. Because there's several levels of discharges. Honorable being the highest one, and to all the way down to the worst one, which is like dishonorable discharge. But so I had honorable, but they was gonna discharge me as like other than honorable or something like that. I wouldn't get any benefits, nothing like that. And that's not why I stayed. I stayed in and I deployed to Iraq because I made a commitment. And I'm not the type of person where if I say something, I mean it. And I'm not the type of person where I'm gonna say one thing and do the opposite. I'm not perfect by far, but to make a commitment that big and then to leave, that's why I couldn't get with Tim Walls so much because you make a commitment to serve your country, to serve, and we say country, but really it's that guy or the female to your left and to your right. And for me to just bail out while they go over there and risk their lives and die, possibly, knowing that I could have been there to do something about it, that's like, So I went, but I had a feeling because I know how I am hooked up with the Lord that I was like, I'm gonna make it back. I'm gonna make it back, and thanks be to God, I made it back. But some people didn't. And we had grenade attacks. We had roadside bomb attacks, what we call IEDs. All of these attacks we call IEDs because they're improvised. They don't have weapons like how we do, so they had to make them weapons up and use them for the means that they want to use them for. Whereas we had special weapons designed for special situations. So yeah, I was never harmed from those attacks. We did have one guy that was supposedly because the command had found a bloody knife right by his turret. So it's like, anyways, he got a Purple Heart for that. One of the guys in another unit, um, different MOS, ended up dying when he went out on a mission. I had a guy that we didn't deploy together, but he had went on a separate deployment. He never came back. He ended up getting killed. So yeah, it's real, man. It's real, and we pay with our lives doing this stuff. So that's why I say it's walking around talking about some happy Veterans Day. I don't. It ain't happy for everybody. For some people, it's real sad and messed up. But you memorize. You remember that, and you give your heart and your thanks to that. But anyways, like I said, I can go on all day talking about the military, but just give you a little quick run through, and I'm pretty sure I'll share other things and go into details with other stories and all of that. But it was fun while it lasted. Some parts wasn't fun, some parts was. I just love being free, and being in the military taught me that there's a heavy price for the freedoms that a lot of these people enjoy and take for granted. So hope you like that. Go if you still made it. If you made it to this part, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for all the latest content, and I will see you on the next one. Stay blessed, never stressed.